Imagine for a moment that you own something that the world yearns for. From east to west, doors keep on knocking, demanding this precious treasure. However, when all is said and done, the world is able to satisfy its needs, but you are left to merely survive, your needs barely met. This is the situation that faces sugarcane farmers in Kenya. Year after year, farmers diligently work their sugarcane farms, protecting this precious treasure from parasites. Being a 51 billion shilling industry, the sector is a magnet for numerous players along the value chain, each seeking a stake. Like a moth to a flame, stakeholders have proved to be real parasites toward the farmers, the very nucleus of the industry. White or brown crystals, confectionery and soft beverages are just some of the commonly known outputs from sugarcane. Brewing of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, pharmaceuticals, animal feeds, fertilizers, electricity generation and environmental users are other high-end users of cane. These and others make sugarcane a strategic and multifunctional economic product. Since independence, the development of the sugar industry has been characterized by chaos, poor stewardship, mismanagement, low utilization capacity, obsolete technology, and lack of political will to address the myriad problems. In 2001, the government, through an Act of Parliament, established the Kenya Sugar Board under the Sugar Act. This was enshrined to establish a self-sufficient sugar subsector as a stable tool for social and economic development. Being a politically appointed body, the Kenya Sugar Board was a non-starter. Ministerial meddling and political camps have contributed to its failure to act as a strong regulator. Hence, its actions can be perceived to be parasitic. The Act gave a platform for the emergence of new players in the subsector who have so far established a parasitic culture toward the farmer and amongst themselves. These include the Kenya Sugar Board, outgrowers institutions, societies, unions, associations, millers, amongst a host of others. For years, each of these has preyed on the farmers, each benefiting in one way or another, directly or indirectly, leaving sugarcane farmers so impoverished.
The Act has given away, he has left a loophole for a miller to play about with the outgrown institution and the farmer to benefit himself.
Haijasaidia wakulima sana kwa sababu serikali ama Ministry of Agriculture haijafuatilia kuona kwamba hii Sugar Act inafuatwa jinsi ambavyo inasema.
Mambo ya Sugar Act hii hata sisi hatujui. Ndio nauliza tu, afadhali wakulima watengenezea forums za kufunzwa Act inasema nini.
Outgrower institutions were initially set up to improve the sugar sector and empower cane growers. Their roles include promoting and representing growers' interests, providing or arranging financial credit for cane growers, procuring services, advice and assistance, negotiating cane prices with millers through the Kenya Sugarcane Growers Association, and effectively lobbying for favorable government policies. But how much have they done on the ground?
We actually the link between the farmer and the miller. Basically, any issues of the farmers who are members of outgoing institutions are channeled through us, so that they don't have to go take the extra pain to go directly to the miller, because most of them are out there.
Hapa tulitengeneza society. Kila location iko na society. Sasa miwa yote wanauza kupitia society.
Hii maneno ya utukoroa ya West Kenya ni motomo. Awasaidia wakulima, mkulima mwenyewe anajisaidia.
We expect that from society. Not everyone will be content with what you're doing 100%, and even if you wanted to do whatever they wanted to you, maybe you're also handicapped in a way or another. You're not able to meet their demands at that point in time, so somebody feels like you're not serving them adequately.
All the outgrown institutions have gone into they have become shareholding companies, meaning they are in business. They cannot advocate for a farmer because they are also doing business to benefit from the farmer.
The Sugar Act permits outgrowers to deduct 2% of the farmer's income as service charge. Most of these outgrowers' services are wanting and have essentially changed to become parasites rather than keepers of the farmers. The Sugar Act provides for constitution of Sugarcane Pricing Committee comprising representatives from the Kenya Sugar Board, Kenya Sugar Manufacturers Association and the Kenya Sugarcane Growers Association. The Pricing Committee is mandated to review prices based on a 50-50 formula between growers and millers as determined by the cane sucrose content. However, that has been far-fetched.
In Kenya, we are paying cane by weight. In the most developed parts, they are paying cane by quality. Yeah, the sucrose content.
When a farmer is paid per ton, he does not benefit from the byproducts.
This formula essentially ties the price of cane to the price of sugar. And that essentially is what we'd call the floor price. So if the miller feels that he wants to pay more, he can pay more. And therefore for that miller to be able to make anything out of that trade, it means that his price of sugar must go up, and that hits the consumer directly.
Communities economically depend on sugarcane, posing a great risk to their socio-economic and infrastructural development. Credit is offered on promises based on profits made from cane harvesting. Moreover, income from sugarcane is used for buying other nutritious types of food.
Na unajua hiyo miezi 24 vile ulikuwa umepanda kwa shamba na ukingojea na madeni bado na yanakaa kando tu yanangojea hizo pesa. Kwa hivyo unapata kama huna mipangilio mingine ama huna mimea ingine ya chakula, unapata kama hiyo inaumiza.
Unless umefundisha watoto na ambayo utauza samba ndio ufundishe watoto ndio watumie wewe vile chakula unaanza kutumia mzuri.
The owners of sugarcane end up living as paupers as other stakeholders enrich themselves.
We have done some calculations and I think it turned out to be a bit pathetic that a sugarcane farmer earns less than a house help per month. Actually, that's the reality.
The social impact of such kind of an industry ranges from rising crime, increasing poverty, declining yields, non-payment of delivered cane, deteriorating infrastructure, HIV prevalence, dysfunctional families, among others.
Mkulima wa miwa anangoja pata miaka miwili ndiyo karo ya fisi italipwa, ndiyo atanunua blanketi, ndiyo siku hiyo labda watakula nyama, ndiyo siku hiyo labda mama atanunuliwa nguo, kama mzee atakuwa na zile fikra.
Culturally, men dominate over women when it comes to land inheritance, farming and sharing of sugarcane profits.
Na tuna wengine wamama wanapalilia miwa, msana angalia tu. Hata naweza panda shamba, apalilie mwenyewe, aenda akate miwa. Lakini pesa ikirudi kwa nyumba ni mfurukano tena.
Chang'aa hapa tena pia brewing iko hali ya juu. Watichifu wazuie chang'aa. I wish hata mngekuja saa mzuri, mngejionea mambo patu mmekuja saa mbaya. Ingekuwa saa jioni mngejionea na macho. Mchukue live ndio hii.
It's a man's world. The social impact of the industry on communities has created a parasitic world that preys on itself. The Kenya Human Rights Commission recommends farmers' organizations that include outgrower institutions, unions, cooperative societies should be restructured, reorganized to operate in line with the Act for better representation of farmers to ensure farmers' joint bargaining power. The government should, with immediate effect, privatize government-owned mills to inject the much-needed capital and technology for diversification to effectively compete with COMESA. It should also put in strategies to ensure farmers' own shares in the process and the percentage allocated to farmers is reserved for them and changes hands only amongst farmers even after privatization. To ensure equitable benefits sharing, cane weighbridges should be independently managed away from the factory to avoid conflict of interest, and the pricing formula should be based on sucrose content while appreciating the value of the cane byproducts. For the industry to attain its stability and anticipated growth, the Kenya Sugar Board should be restructured to function as an independent regulator. The government to regulate the prices as well as interest rates on inputs and services supplied to farmers like fertilizers, land preparation costs, among others. To be effective and relevant, the dispute resolution process should be decentralized to the sugar belts, and the Sugar Arbitration Tribunal judges be vetted and appointed by the Judicial Service Commission, which may be non-partisan in the industry, instead of the minister, who is an interested party. Farmers should prioritize profitability by engaging in farming as a business, considering yield per hectare. Furthermore, farmers' institutions should interrogate the productivity of small-scale sugarcane farming versus large-scale farming, or whether small-scale farmers would benefit from farming other crops like passion fruits, watermelons, as the farmer ends up with very little in terms of profits. The Land Control Board should intervene in land sale, subdivision and leasing to ensure there is no exclusion of women and children in such transactions. When all is said and done, what is the way forward for the farmers?
Tukishirikiana Kenya Human Rights Commission tulishasukuma kubadilishwa kwa Act, Sugar Amendment, mpaka tukatoa mapendekezo. Hata hiyo ikawasilishwa kwa ile kamati ya bunge kuhusu sukari SUPAC. Ingawaje haijamnini, lakini msukumo huo umesukuma hadi juu.
Tuliungana na civil society organization within the country, na tukachangia pakubwa katika kuleta hiyo chapter 4 ambayo inazingatia mambo ya that bill of rights, that chapter 4 ambayo tunazingatia whoever mwenye anavunja hiyo, tunaona hata si mambo ya kwenda nini kwa barabara, hiyo ni mambo ya kwenda nini kotini. Katiba mpya ndio tetesi halisi ya ule mtu ambaye ni mnyonge, na hiyo katiba tutaendelea kuelimisha ili hata wale wanyonge wapate kujua itawasaidia namna gani na wadaielewa kindani kabisa.
Possibly the end output would be to have the different groups we work with, if they can be able to form now regional networks that will be able to speak with one voice in terms of their regional issue, which is, whether it's issue of sugarcane, because it's quite regional, it affects communities basically within the whole of that region. If they will be able to come together and speak, that's where we are heading to.
For Kenya to stand and be counted as a successful agricultural nation, the parasitic culture that has permeated the sugar industry, leading to the abuse of farmers' rights, must be stopped. This will only be done when the farmer is considered as king in the industry.